I will start my speech in 3, 2, panels. Opening banks seems confusing because they are debating about beauty standard, but not explaining the tangible correlation with feminism itself, Mr. Madam Chair. OG told you the reason why they want to oppose is because beauty standard, how it will harm to the woman. We think OG failed to detect the more important urgency why feminist movement should aggressively oppose the K-pop industry, because the definition of beauty is so abstract, and even if there's women being hampered, the reason is not merely because K-pop industry, right? So our distinction as CG is so clear. What CG think the more important urgency, why we should oppose, because how these companies of K-pop industry is so bad, having a bad treatment toward women, and how unjustified K-pop culture for women not convey K-pop to certain beauty standard, but how K-pop industry itself in CO is create toxic environment for women, Mr. Madam Chair. Because our stance is so clear, as CG, we aggressively oppose K-pop industry in order to protect vulnerable women in K-pop industry with this mechanism, because the mechanism from OG is still blurry, right? We first declaration in social media and all the platforms that feminists have. Second, aggressively means in the capitalistic way also, in the economic way also, so they will have behavior changing, right? Like we are not buying and boycott their merch. And third of all, create hashtag in social media to protect K-pop idols that being harmed, Mr. Madam Chair, that is being hampered in the status quo itself. So it is very different from like different framing from opening bands on how we create distinction on how it is not about fans only, but also the idols, especially women that being hampered. So I have two issues, and all my rebuttal will be intertwined in it. First issue, why is necessary for feminist movement to aggressively oppose the K-pop industry? And second, why this way is so strategic for feminist movement in the future? So first issue, why is necessary for a feminist movement to aggressively oppose the K-pop industry? First of all, let's characterize K-pop industry works in general. Like first, too many detection for the idols. For example, the company itself obligatory the idols to wear something that company told them to do. And second, it is more important and it is more common fact, like since trainee they already being forces not to do certain things like dating and so on, right? That they write their basic right itself is being limited and so on. This bad treatment also that these trains got, because we think it is so bad because they are not guaranteed they will debut or not, Mr. Madam Chair. It is still blurry. They will like they will being debuted or not. Even more, it is more worse, Mr. Madam Chair, for women itself, Mr. Madam Chair, that being hampered about this proposal, about this kind of system that this company have. Even if they already giving their whole life in training, but it's still not guaranteed them that they will being debut and so on, right? This entertainment system is more worse for women. How in many intense and many example, like in the past we have like YG scandal in the past where their sexualize, commercialize their idols, right? The idols willingly to follow this kind of their kind of boss because of they afraid they're not being debut, Mr. Madam Chair, and so on, Mr. Madam Chair. How this kind of environment so toxic for environment? Does it is necessary because it is already harms the idols, especially for women, because it is like the question that opposition asks, why it is so urgent to oppose this kind of K-pop industry, Mr. Madam Chair? We have we tackle that kind of question, right? Moreover, there is also inequality of payment for men and women. Those are the urgency that feminist movement should solve, right? The unjustified company system for women in K-pop industry. This is more important than OG quiz that only explain about beauty standard and so on without the correlation for the feminist movement exclusively, right? Secondly, if we see how K-pop culture works, Mr. Madam Chair, let's characterize these things. If K-pop idols women get in scandal, for example, they will get condemned a lot rather than men, Mr. Madam Chair. For example, when Sejongki and Song Hye Kyo divorced, Mr. Madam Chair, a lot of society cornering the woman only, Mr. Madam Chair. Thus, it is necessary to oppose because we want to these companies and culture of K-pop industry will have behavior changing, Mr. Madam Chair, with our models to pressuring them, Mr. Madam Madam Chair, in the very first place. This is so important for women itself to can protect them, Mr. Madam Chair, from this kind of evil actors from companies and also K-pop culture as a whole. The likelihood why this more likely happen, like the behavior changing itself, is that the first feminists will tell what's wrong in the K-pop itself, Mr. Madam Chair, and the demand for K-pop will be lessened because the feminists embrace this, Mr. Madam Chair. Thus, it is necessary and resulting to the behavior changing for women in K-pop industry, Mr. Madam Chair, because the society knows, for example, the feminists that told what is the flaws of K-pop industry, how it is so bad environment for women, and so on. And it's more important and significant that OG ideas and also answer the question of the opposed why it is so urgent to begin with, right? Second issue, why this way is strategic for feminist movement in the future. They say opening opposition, say we will get rejection. We say it is no, right? Because first, followers of feminists already in massive number. So the moment feminist side wants that feminists oppose, means society will see there's something wrong in K-pop, Mr. Madam Chair. So rejection less likely happen. Other benefit is that women that not in K-pop industry will be helped also, Mr. Madam Chair, because the feminist itself works like fully right in the social media, like they work together, that they are doing that kind of things separately but in the one goals, Mr. Madam Chair. For example, in the inequality of pay gaps, that of payment for the woman and man, the other aspect will see how this kind of feminist movement when they aggressively oppose it, it is so significant to pressuring the company. So the other aspect will follow this kind of mechanism too. For example, if that succeeds, right? And even if like yes there is rejection, for example, but we think it is okay, Mr. Madam Chair, because this is like the only momentum to save this kind of vulnerable woman in the K-pop industry itself. That is like the obligatory of feminist movement in the very first place, that we should doing this kind of things to protect the woman itself and having this kind of better policies for women that can making the better environment for women that being hampered, we propose. Thank you.
Cek, am I audible?
Your image still okay. Okay, now it's okay. Your signal bandwidth is low. Okay, I think it's fine.
I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Mr. and Madam Speaker, I think that this debate is not talking about how we prevent people to think that they should pursue the face like Jungkook or to be Lisa from Blackpink. I think that this debate should be to the level on how then we could save people like Lisa or any other women inside this K-pop industry because they got a direct harm from this toxic industry. Both opposition bands assumes that the level to the level they believe status quo is enough for people to understand without even engaging to my member cases, that somehow the villain of these motions is not the beauty standard in itself, but this villain of this debate is how the K-pop industry is becoming is violating people to begin with. Therefore we believe if I'm proof you that this K-pop industry harms people, CG will take the debate. Two clashes in my speech. First of all, which side of the house could save more women in status quo? Second of all, which sides bring betterment for feminists? First clashes. Which side of the house that save more women inside the status quo? Opposition's bench said that you do not need to oppose aggressively this K-pop industry because feminists did their best. We say that this feminists could way go better without aggressive cannot go better without aggressively oppose this K-pop industry. Why? Because my member already told you on how that all the things happen inside the K-pop industry is already bad. The pressures for women inside the K-pop industry is pretty real, Madam Chair, to the level that they didn't even get any salary rights and this phenomena is already happened elsewhere, not only in K-pop industry but also in other companies as well. This is what women wants to do, wants to have, that there is people or there is a body that would started a movement talking about what are the importance for women to get to get equal salary, or that is this is something that is needed to be pursued, or even specific time jobs that is work for our employees to work. This kinds of benefit is never been brought by opening government, because what they are concerned is how then they are concerned to beauty standard without telling us why then it's much important for the society in compared to us, which we are likely to play in life and that situations where this woman is likely to not get paid in time. Therefore, women will get a lots of benefit under ourselves of the house, because feminists will aggressively oppose the what the K-pop industry is done. Will at least through the supply and demand theory by the ops bench, that this K-pop industry will at least change their behavior. That they might do a conference to clarify things, to apologize, to give compensations to all the victims that they are done into. This is something that save women's a lot, rather than focusing on how whether or not the beauty standard is exist or not for people. Therefore, CGs take the debate through this class. Second of all, which side of the house could bring betterment to feminists? Both houses agree that the goals of feminists is to earn more followers and also to pursue their agenda. Oppositions believe that that feminists will not earn anything when you oppose the K-pop industry. We say no, right? Feminists will earn a lot of things when we done or when we oppose the K-pop industry. Why we say so? I think that oppositions already says to you that that by aggressively opposing this K-pop industry, you will seen as radical. You will seen as something that is opposing the systems a lot. Why do we say it's okay? First of all, we should take a look what is happening in the K-pop industry on the K-pop community. I think that all of these people somehow knows what is the issues, but what they didn't have is they didn't have any strengths to actually fall to actually turn down this toxic big company. Therefore, we says to you, for feminists to earn their follower is actually to cope up with these people, with this community, the one who is somehow aware but didn't have any power to do a thing. We need to make these people to believe that this is something that needs to be fight on in the future. Therefore, we says to you, under our side of the house, it's better for feminists to earn followers, because there will be tons of people that going to spill the bad things coming from their own company or coming from their own agency. That this kinds of thing is needed to actually erase any discriminative behavior towards women. Under opposition's house, I think that feminists will lose a lot. Why do we say so? I think that when people are believe they are in a very oppressive state, that they are starting to seek for help, but this feminist wouldn't do a thing. I think that this is also the time when feminist is seen as unreliable movement, that they are cannot be seen as something that is powerful in the society. When there are no one who trusts you, or there are no one who believe in you, there is no one who is actually there will be no one who is going to going to believe in you. Feminists also will be seen bad if you do not do a thing toward these K-pop issues. Let me insert you two things into the debate, and this is the reasons why we win. The first one is how then we are the team that is proved to you the big harm that is happening in the K-pop industry. somehow happen in a lot of sector, that this is the momentum for the feminists to actually pursue them by opposing this, in order for people to not only believe but also to act. In the end, under also of the house is the we are the team that is giving you a step on how this is actually the best thing for feminists do, and not on and for women also do. Very proud to propose. Thank you.